Cubs fam, it is Monday morning, time for Rogue Actions. You know what Rogue Actions means. That only means one thing. We got to bring in Urza. What's going on, Urza?
Hey guys, how are you, Cubs fam? What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday morning.
I'm going to speak on behalf of the whole Cubs fam. We are freaking relieved that you're here for Rogue Actions. After, if you guys didn't hear the news, Urza released a video this week. Last week now, for everyone on Monday recording this Saturday. You released it earlier today as I'm recording this, saying you're quitting Galaxy of Heroes. And as I was making macaroni and cheese for my kids, I about dumped it all over the floor and started, through tears in my eyes, going to my phone to text you like, why are you leaving, Urza? And then I was relieved to hear that you're giving it at least 60 days. So we're going to talk a lot about that. Yeah. But for now, we got at least guaranteed 60 days. And Urza, I'm glad that you're still here doing Rogue Actions.
Oh, yeah. We just talked about it on my channel. I think we're both going to try and commit to doing Rogue Actions even beyond Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely go watch the episode. I won't rehash over all of that here, but we talk about the future of Rogue Actions over there. And if you decide to stay in the game after 60 days, things get better, great. We'll continue as normal. If you don't, the show's going nowhere for now, at least it seems. We're just going to do general Star Wars, which we have plenty to shoot the breeze about there. So, all right, you guys know the drill. We have got a meme of the week we're going to get to right now. We're going to dig a little bit more into this quitting thing and what are the reasons behind it and what would potentially keep you here. And then Urza, I'm going to talk a lot about some optimism, some mad optimism I have got right now after reading into this road ahead a little bit more in specifics, some additional thoughts that Crumb shared on the Galactic War report. So is that enough for you guys to chew on? Is that enough for you?
Yeah, man, I'm excited to hear about I haven't tuned into the Galactic War report yet, so I'm excited to hear what's going on there.
I'm gonna put my salesman cap on now. Now, I as I talked about in your video, I really respect your move, but I still, for selfish reasons, want you to stay as a friend. So, all right, let's get into this meme of the week. Now, Urza, I don't know if you're going to hear the volume of this. I'll turn the volume on for the Cubs fan, but I'm a little bit biased on this one. It's a minute-long meme. I thought the editing on this was just great. Credit where credit is due. This is VFX Enthusiast, or let's see. Oh, no. U/Ryan Walker. Freaking bravo, man. This did not get nearly enough love.
Beautiful.
All right. Okay, Urza, now I've done a lot of talking in this video so far. We're going to let you do most of the talking now. We got to talk about, so I asked the Cubs fam on my Discord server, wanted to get some questions for you about your decision to quit. So first and foremost, this is just from me. How you feeling? Like, is this like, you commit so much to this game. Are you doing okay? Are you happy? Are you sad? Like, where are you at, man?
Excited, a little bit worried,
Sure.
but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, so I made the point when we were talking kind of pre-show here that it feels like, so I've been broken up with in my life, and I've done a breakup, so it kind of feels like the time I did a breakup, right? Someone broke up with me, and I've broken up with somebody else. Okay. It feels like time I broke up with somebody else.
Okay.
And at the moment, everything feels fine. Like you feel like this is a big life-changing decision, but you feel like you know in your heart it's the right decision, right?
Okay, sure. And
I just feel like I almost don't really worry about it. I just kind of what was the question? I'm sorry.
How are you feeling? It's okay. Your mind's everywhere. It's been a big day.
No, my how I feel is a little bit sad, but at the same time excited for what the future brings.
There you go.
It's just like breaking up somebody. I guess the point I wanted to make was where I got lost in my thoughts is it's like, okay, it feels right and strange right now, but in a couple weeks from now, or in this case, a couple months from now, I'm just gonna have this void when I wake up in the morning. Like, okay, I check Discord, I check my phone, I do all these things. I'm going to have this void. And it's going to be like starting a new routine, starting something new with
who am I supposed to go to dinner with now?
Yeah, right? Like, there will be a time in the near future where I experience that. And I'm like, okay, this is the sad part, right?
Right.
So,
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
So
That's kind of how I'm feeling right
I'm
now.
not familiar. I'm going to blow up your analogy just a little bit because I'm not familiar with very many people who break up with somebody and say, "I'm giving you 60 days. If you don't, if you don't get cuter in 60 days or whatever it is, I'm out." So I want to talk a little bit about that. So you said 60 days, which kind of relieved me, but also intrigued me. How likely do you think it is? Like you said, if things improve, you know, that you're opening up the door that you may stay. If they don't, then you're going to delete your mods. Like you're going to be full bore, balls to the wall, quitting. Deleting your mods is the most committed quitting you can do in Galaxy. It's probably the only way to quit, really, because it prevents you from ever coming back.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah. So how likely do you think it is that you stay, or is this like this is like you're fully committed to quitting and it's...
I'm fully committed to quitting right now. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I don't think there's anything that CG... it's a complete lack of faith in CG, lack of confidence.
So why the 60-day period then? I'm curious. Because if you're that committed, why not just do it now?
There's like I said, man, there's a part inside of me that I look at games like MSF and DSA and what they offer.
Yeah.
In like a live PvP experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they brought something like that, or even if they really just, if they drop something like that, it could be game changing for the scope of this game. And it could put years of life onto the end of it. But that's pretty much the only thing that I think that would change my mind, or like a draft mode or something like that. That's streamable content, that's fun, that's kind of ever changing, ever evolving. And, you can say that's Grand Arena, and I love Grand Arena. I was, the original Grand Arena streamer, but it
look what you started, man.
Yeah, it needs something like that, and I think that could be totally game changing. And if that came, I would reassess my decision immediately. Like,
so don't you feel like it's confirmed that they're not doing that though? And if they are, it's not going to be within the next 60 days. And so all we've got within the next 60 days, the only thing that could really change, in my view, is this new game mode they've announced, Galactic Challenges, which we're going to talk a little bit about. Yep. That Galactic War Report, CUG's favorite people to talk to, got a lot of information on. And so do you think it's possible for that game mode to persuade you to stay?
No, I feel like that game mode's simply going to be a cash grab to like farm up your Tuskens and Jawas and anything that's obscure in the game. It's just going to be like, oh, there's a Tusken challenge today.
Okay.
Only passable with G13 Tuskens. Good luck, have fun, everybody. I don't know, man. Like, I read that post and I was like, it was more, like as I've said in my video, it was very insulting to me.
Yeah.
That we had waited this long and that was all we got. It was just so insulting. I don't know.
That's what pushed you over the edge.
Yeah, it put a bad taste in my mouth. And I had a lot of people in my community that were waiting on the road ahead. And we talked about it every week on Rogue Actions about how they could not disappoint us with the road ahead.
We tried not to talk about it because it was going on for so long.
And here's the thing, man. I was on your stream when you were reading it.
Yeah.
And I could tell, like, you're like, there's disappointment there, but
totally. I was disappointed.
Yeah. And I felt the same way. And for me, we talked about on the other side is like, I have a different life circumstance than you because I'm not full-time YouTube.
Right.
So I have the luxury of choosing what I want to cover. Right. And if I was full-time YouTube, I don't think I could make that decision to leave the game. But I feel like I'm in a good place in my personal life to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
That's best for me.
Yeah, and that's where I want to be careful because I'm asking you these questions. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, but I very much respect the need to drop out. And if that's what's best for you, like everyone needs to respect that. And I also really respect that you're not trying to persuade other people to leave either. No. I think that's a very personal decision. My kind of the way I sum up how I feel, because people ask me all the time, why don't you just quit? You're so negative about the game. I'm really not that negative about Galaxy of Heroes. It's more CG that I have an issue with. And the way that they communicate, the way they treat content creators, the way they treat you guys, that's what gets my blood boiling and what pisses me off. But as far as like a game enjoyment standpoint, I still really enjoy this game. I want it to be better, but the game is enough to keep me here. And so there's a big difference between how I feel about CG and how I feel about the game, and they're very separate for me. So let's
it's 100% CG Cubs.
Yeah.
I have no confidence in their ability to do anything right.
Yeah.
I talked about this on my stream, Cubs, is like, if you're doing the road ahead post and you know everybody's waiting for that, why don't you do it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Because you could have had the Vader thing in there.
Yeah.
We're reworking Vader. We're making him everything he should have been. You could have had the Luke thing in there. Get ready for this awesome banger event.
Yeah, they need some PR help, right? Because they could have announced this 2 weeks ago and included, hey, we're reworking Vader, or 3 weeks ago, or however long it was, and also throw in there, and we're bringing in Jedi Luke. Like, this is the road ahead, and it would have made sense. But here's the thing, like, you got something to say. I got something to say too. You go first.
My point is, you have those three things: the Vader thing, the Luke event, and this new game mode that they sort of hinted at on Friday.
Yeah.
And if they put one more thing in there, we are looking at a banger road ahead.
I know,
right?
Yeah.
If they put just one more thing out there, and it could be just something distant, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And that part of me believes that they're effectively trying to kill off the game if they're not going to put any effort whatsoever to communicate. I mean, you did the same thing in your video with Arnold. I watched that today, and I pulled it up. I pulled all the road aheads up last night on stream. We talked about what they look like and what we got this last time, and I'm like, this is two different things, man. You guys were searching by number of exclamation points. It's like I did the exact same thing on stream last night, and it just
did it? Yeah.
It's so obvious. Like,
Yeah.
I effectively think they're trying to kill the game, and that is sickening to me. So
I'm going to disagree. I don't think they're trying to kill the game, but I do think that they have a very clear low effort policy for communication and PR. They just don't care about it. And so here's what I want to draw, kind of how I feel. I'm not discrediting how you feel, but from where I sit, they just have bad communication strategy. But it doesn't, from a game enjoyment standpoint, it doesn't make a big difference to me if they announce the road ahead about Vader and Luke and this, and put that in one exciting post, because eventually we're still going to have all that stuff in the game anyway. So it's a CG problem. It's not a game problem necessarily. We're going to talk a little bit about what was said on the Galactic War Report. I do think that they're focused on a long-term future for this game still. And they just, for whatever reason, communication-wise, they just they obviously don't care about that. And so that's kind of like a separate issue than what is coming to the game. Right. And so let's talk about this. So I've got a Word document here. Sure. Let me, here we go. Hold on. I've got my questions for you on it too. I'm going to take those off. Okay. So here is, I've bolded a couple things. I went through the transcript, and I want to talk through some of the characteristics that are coming here. So let's do two things. First of all, I want to share this with the Cubs fam. I know Arnold did a video on this. I didn't watch it, so I don't know which tidbits he pulled out. But if you missed that, you can hear about some of that here. But I'm also curious to see if any of this sways you at all. And so let me read through this. So Crumb confirmed that there would be repeatable content that scales with difficulty, that would allow you to utilize your roster well. There's going to be 7 tiers of difficulty for this. And then they say there's 3. He said there were 3 sort of feats. Wow, my voice cracked. Feats or challenges for each of those tiers that require you to bring in a different squad or challenge yourself with a different kind of restriction. But the cool part is, to play through the regular tiers, you can bring in whatever squad you want. It's not locked. I think that's a really positive thing. It's going to be able to do whatever squad you want, but then there'll be additional bonus feats you can do that will restrict you if you want to. Once you have access to this event daily, you'll be able to play it over and over again with no characters get locked. You can swap out teams, try variants of them, play as much as you want. So this sounds like very streamable to me. And something that Arnold said that really grabbed my attention was, he called it sounds like maybe it's like a PvE version of Grand Arena. So I think it's something that would be incredibly exciting. And then, okay, let's go on. So we can have maybe 30 of these a month, 30 different ones at the crazy end of it, to maybe a couple a week. Different ones. So different, like, this is edited, so I'm not showing the whole thing. Right. Different ones that we can constantly be making more and more of these with a lot faster tool set than we had previously. So the idea again is that you are swapping up constantly. It's a different puzzle every time you hop onto the same, and we could try to solve it in a whole bunch of different ways. They're trying to open up the system as wide as possible to allow as many kinds of combos as they can. So we can generate these things and then go back and make sure it's exactly what we wanted to curate it a bit. And we can create a really interesting puzzle, blah, 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 blah. So far, let's see here. There's some other things I want to get through. You know what? Let me just read through it all, and then I'll get your take on it. Because there's a lot to discuss here.
Yeah.
One thing I'll interject here is, again, when it comes to communication strategy. So for me, a lot of this additional information that came here made me feel better about the road ahead. Because it kind of my take on the road ahead, Urza. Tell me if you where you're at. But I feel like I was just kind of like subdued about it because I'm like, this doesn't really tell me anything. It gives me an idea.
I read it and I was like, okay, I'm into it. I'm reading. And then I got to the end and I was like, what?
That's it? Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, so it's like strategy-wise, like, why are they dumping all of this information here? Why didn't they just include all of this stuff they're saying here in the road ahead? I don't get it.
CG.
I shouldn't have to, like, no offense to Galactic War Report. They're great guys. I've got nothing wrong with them, but we shouldn't have to go to a podcast to find the only information here. Okay, so we're doing a lot of investment into the future of the game and making sure we have the tool set or modernize the eyes. We enable our designers and artists to have a much better pipeline to build the stuff so they can do more complicated things and more exciting things with less overhead and less time-consuming real work. And he says the utility upgrade, it's probably something we'll talk about in a separate post in the future, but it's a big deal for us. And so coming along with this is kind of like this framework upgrade that we're talking about. So the better tools for cinematics, better tools for designers to make characters. Right now, he kind of goes into how they've got an old system that it requires them to use different programs, multiple programs, cross-reference stuff between them. So it sounds a lot more complicated right now. So we've set aside a team of folks to work on that in addition to Galactic Challenges. So it's separate from Galactic Challenges. Okay. And then he says that basically they want to make sure that they're doing it for the long-term health of the game to make sure we're around for years and years to come. And so, I don't know, it just doesn't sound to me like they are trying to kill the game. They might be killing the game, but it doesn't sound like they're trying to me. And then last couple tidbits here. Sorry, this is a bit wordy, but I want to share it all. I think I mentioned this at the start of the Road Ahead post. Oh, yeah, I bolded that because I think it's funny. Top Hat posted this, but he says he mentioned it. So I think Krem wrote the Road Ahead post. Top Hat just posted it. That's kind of interesting. Just like how Grand Arena was rolled out up into Grand Arena Championships, like the larger event. Yeah, we want to do the same kind of thing with this. And so they're going to kind of build on it.
Exhibition mode.
He says he would have loved to put more images in the road ahead, which, like, how about just put images? I'm just going to delete the word more for you there, Crumb, because there were no images, except for Top Hat's profile picture. UI and stuff comes near the end of it, and making all of it look polished and nice is what we've really solidified the future to be happy with it. So I guess they don't really have a UI fleshed out, which gives it like he's basically hinting at about a 3-month timeline before this comes out, which is a bit longer than your 2-month time frame here. And then he confirms it's a low barrier of entry. You're playing through daily activities as you get access to this thing on a daily basis. It shouldn't be something that is a grind to unlock. It's something that people of all levels be able to access fairly easily. So, okay, so let's react to this. So the way I felt when I read this, Urza, I felt more optimistic. It felt like they're describing a lot of things I feel like the game needs. I don't know that this is going to be fun and exciting yet. There's still a lot of questions on that, but it felt like they're hitting on they're at least working towards what we need. So
I think that's one way. That's one way of looking at it, man. I don't know. For me, it just seems like a lot of speak that I've seen the last 5 years, and I always circle back to the point, Cubs. I don't know how they can justify creating new systems on a 5-year-old mobile game and expect it to sell. Like it just seems like a waste of time. Like they should be putting out things that all players can do, not redeveloping, Galactic, Galactic War or redeveloping assault battles. I don't know. That is not new or exciting. A new raid is something new and exciting. A new game mode like territory battles, territory wars, Grand Arena. That is something exciting. To me, this reeks of like the same old, same old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it could be. So here's the fear is for me that this will just be like you said, Assault Battles 2.0 or Galactic War 2.0, but it might not be. Like what they're talking about different challenges they can do every day. What if every
have to show a god darn screenshot?
Well, I know. No, okay, right. So communication strategy, CG, their communication strategy sucks. I'm concerned about the final product, what we actually end up getting in the game, right? And if what we actually end up getting in the game is new and exciting, it could still be that. What if a lot of these galactic challenges include little mini bosses like an AT-AT or a Wampa? Well,
What
a Wampa.
have you been playing for 5 years, man? They do the bare minimum here, Cubs. I appreciate your optimism, but man, they do the bare minimum and expect us to stick around. I'm sorry, man. I can't. I'm not excited for any of this stuff, and that is the point, man. Even reading what Crumb wrote here, I'm shaking my head because I'm just like, they can't even get the senior producer to go out, or the live producer, Top Hat, to go out and talk to this game mode. They send the communications guy out there. I don't know.
Well, maybe I'm too optimistic. You could be right. I'm trying to think about what the best case scenario is for this, and right now,
I'm sorry,
I get it. Like you're the one who's talking about quitting. Like obviously you're not as optimistic as me.
I can't be strung along any longer. I just can't, man.
No,
I feel like
I respect
they've done the same things over and over. The pattern is repeating itself.
Too.
It's an abusive relationship, and I'm done being abused. That's just me, though.
So, okay. We've seen examples, though, of CG delivering. Like, how much did CG deliver with Grand Arena?
They delivered great. Grand Arena put 2 years on this game.
They've been working on this one for a long time. Their communication strategy sucks with it. So is it really out of the realm of possibility that they could deliver with this?
Of course not. They could do something good. But they knew, in my mind, if they didn't know that they had to make a big splash on this road ahead post, they are clueless. And to me, they failed in that one regard. We've been talking about the road ahead for 8 months, Cubs.
Yeah.
They failed at making the big splash.
And that's okay. It. So again, CG versus game. CG's communication strategies suck. And they're completely tone deaf on how to get people hyped about what's coming. Like they just did not. They get an F on hyping this community up because there was nothing there to really get hyped about. But I'm reading what they're actually saying here and thinking, what could this actually be? Forget CG, screw those guys. They hate content creators. We hate them too. The feeling's mutual. But I care about their game. What ends up coming to the game itself, based on what they're saying, the language they're saying, it hits on what we need right now, I think. Replayable content, utilizing your whole roster, all of those things, free to play. I don't see how this is paid to play other than, maybe the feats will be kind of paid to play because they're talking over and over again about you can utilize your whole roster. The feats might be what restricts you a bit. We don't know about the rewards yet, all those things, but it at least has a lot of those boxes checked, I think, Urza. I think it does.
Okay, I agree. It is something to look forward to, and it's better than nothing, right? They gave you guys something. They gave us something. But I just look at like the last basically year of this game, nothing has happened with any meaningful sort of thing. Like nothing has happened.
Yeah.
There's no excusing that. An MMO that does nothing, a live service game that does nothing over a year, what's the point? It just gets to a point where it's just like, there's nothing to celebrate here. There's nothing new. And they just expect people to hang on. And your guys are going to be still hanging on because is it going to be rolled out for another 3 months?
Yeah.
I'd rather take that time, that 3 months, to invest myself in something I really enjoy. And
I
for me, that's
yeah, I respect
going to
that.
be squadrons.
Yeah. Well, I'm investing in Squadrons too. Don't get me wrong. I'm super pumped for that game. I think that game is going to be dope, especially in VR, which I'm probably going to be getting set up
Did
with.
you decide on a headset yet?
Not yet. I'm still deliberating.
So the Quest, I gave you misinformation. The Quest actually can hook up to a PC.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, maybe I'll look into that. But anyway,
and that one could be untethered as well. Anyways,
to kind of wrap things up, I think obviously Urza and I we're kind of on different ends of the spectrum. I think Urza's really. I mean, you're obviously looking to move on. I still love the game, and I think where I was sitting, I was really, really looking forward to this road ahead, and just I really feel like a lot of the things they've been saying to us over the last good while points to what we need in this game. And so I'm just even though I can't stand these guys, I'm just cheering for them to get it. I'm cheering for them to get it, and I hope they do. And we just need more information at this point.
I'm cheering for someone at EA to rip the license from this studio and give it to another mobile game studio and make SWGOH 2. And then I'll be seeing you guys on those holidays once again.
All right, everyone. Fill up the comments below. What do you guys think about this episode of Rogue Actions? We did go a bit long today, about 10 minutes longer than we normally do. I hope that's okay with you guys. I think it was a valuable discussion, though. Yeah. We love you, Urza. Respect what you're doing, man. Everyone, go check out his video. If you haven't subbed him, be sure to sub to him and drop a W in his chat. I just, I saw that video today, and I just thought, man, I love that guy.
It's all good, man.
I love the haul.
We're gonna keep on keeping on. Don't worry about it.
Yep. All right, everyone. That's gonna do it for today. Again, like the video if you did enjoy it, and as always, my brothers, don't forget.